Hello, welcome to installment number 3 of HubSpot with Paragon for sequences. We're going to continue kind of our process about it. So we've set up a sequence, we created one, and we've actually sent it off. And I just want to go through a couple little small tweaks and information that you should know. So first off, if you'll notice here, I actually created a clone of the sequence, and I've got two owners here. The difference here is that this one is actually shared with everyone. And the one that I have cloned here is actually just shared with me. It's private. So the best practice here is that if you're going to use a sequence, you can create your own, but make it private if it's going to include your own data. So if you're going to put your own nuances within the templates themselves. But if you have something that you think everybody can use, feel free to share it among your team. The individuals that can see this will be on Sales Pro or Sales Enterprise that have access to sequences. So just be aware of that. And if you like something that somebody else is using, you can clone it and make it your own. But I would suggest not editing those things that belong to other people if they're the owner, unless you're fixing something like a misspelling. That way it's left to its own. Let that individual know and let them work with it. But again, you can change those sharing preferences. If you make it private, then everybody else in your team cannot see it. Okay? You can also put these sequences into folders. So if you have a reach out folder of sequences that you like to use, or you have a folder for maybe these are all of your webinar ones that you use, like post webinar, and you give them specific names. I like to use a general sequence, clone it, maybe for another webinar or meeting that I go to, update maybe the location where I met those individuals, and reuse that sequence that I found to be most effective. And just a couple of things to follow up. So that's sequences there within the actual automation. I want to go back to contacts real quick and show you guys a couple of things here. So you'll notice that we've got now in sequence here as a column. That was edited here. I can edit and grab that column, and you can just type in sequence, grab that column, and it would insert it into the system. So I already have it added. We've applied it, so we're just going to cancel that. But now I can see if they've been added or not. So here's the deal. If you've got something that is, this is what's kind of really cool. I'm now in a sequence. If it's now in a sequence like Peter Jenkins that I sent out, it'll tell me true. If it's not, if they've been in a sequence and they've stopped, it'll say false. The two ways that individuals can be stopped in a sequence is if they respond to an email or if they book a meeting with you. Those are the automated ways. The other ways are for you to manually unenroll them. So if you do get on a call with somebody and they respond to you, then you'll want to unenroll them from the sequence and maybe put them into a different sequence or move them forward into your deals and opportunities accordingly. As a best practice, you want to make sure, I show this here because now I know that I can reach out to Travis Berry. He's never been enrolled in a sequence, and maybe he's the next guy on my list that I want to go to, and I can create tasks to work with these people to maybe give them an initial call and reach out to them, depending on what your cadence is. In my case, maybe I call first and then I enroll in a sequence, or maybe I enroll in a sequence and then call based on the tasks that I'm given. So those are just a couple of things to make note of with sequences. And then the last thing I want to point out real quick is that your templates, kind of going back to the sequences themselves, can be found in here. Now I've put my sequences into, or my templates into a folder, but these are actually the emails that are being used in my sequence. And if I edit it here, it will edit it for the sequence itself. So if I come into the email here and I make a change to this in any way, it's actually going to affect the email that is going out in my sequence because that's what this is used in. You'll also notice that, or to take note of that, in making those edits, they do not affect future sequences that have already been enrolled. So that Peter Jenkins that I've already enrolled, if I make a change to the email 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that maybe he's on, he is not getting that update. You do not want to use this as some sort of update system where you go in and you update an email thinking that it's going to update people that are already enrolled. You would have to unenroll those individuals and re-enroll them with the new content, which is typically what you would do if you kind of missent some information or you found a typo and you wanted to update it. And you'd go back, if you look in part 2 again, you'll see how you can change when a sequence is being sent, the timing that it's being sent, and you can go back and re-evaluate the time. You could re-enroll them and start at email number 2. Okay. Those are just a few tips and tricks I thought I'd share with you guys about sequences. Please make sure that you're using folders in your templates. Keep things nice and clean and tidy. It really helps out for you, for yourself, and for your team. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you ever have any questions, please reach out to Paragon. And this ends our series on sequences.